Hello, gorgeous folks. It's Darice at Moonlife Astro coming to you today to talk to you about Wednesday's astrology. We have a few interesting transits coming up. I also wanted to expand more on the double shutdown method. I got this method from Dr. Kate Henry on Substack. I'll put her link below. Oh, and also, quick reminder, please like and subscribe to this channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel. That does help me grow the channel and get the message out to more people. Dr. Kate Henry, she tends to help people with planning, academic writing, people are working on dissertations, but I find a lot of her planning and productivity suggestions to be very helpful. And one of them is the double shutdown method. Or about an hour or so before you're planning to end your day, or whenever you're working on a particular project, you lay out your agenda for that day. You set a timer an hour before you need to officially finish. And then your second timer is at the hour where you're actually shutting everything down. And it gives you the opportunity to basically review what you've done so far, close out things, and that way you're not trying to rush through to finish up your day before you can take care of the next thing, like maybe taking care of the house, or maybe going to pick up one of your kids, or maybe you're going out to meet people for the holidays. But I'll talk about that a bit more as we get into this. But let me just get into the astrology first of all. So Wednesday, December 4th, we have Mercury opposing Jupiter. The sun will also be squaring Saturn, and Venus will sextile Neptune. Now, these transits, they offer a unique blend of expansive ideas, practical grounding, and creative flow. So if you're feeling torn between big dreams and practical limits, this video is to help you. I'm going to break down what each of these transits means and how it can help you maybe formulate your thoughts, think about some ideas around your relationships and your projects. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication. It is directly opposing Jupiter, the planet of expansion and optimism. Mercury is currently in Sagittarius in retrograde, and we also have Jupiter in retrograde going through Gemini. So they're basically in each other's home signs, and it's what some astrologers would call a mutual reception. So they're sort of helping each other out, but there's some challenges. And so this opposition is going to heighten that a little bit. So one of the pitfalls of that, it can lead to overcommitting to too many ideas or too many projects. Or it can also lead to exaggerating and miscommunication. Now, one of the advantages of this particular transit is that big ideas can surface. So this is a great time for brainstorming and visioning. And also having conversations that you've been waiting to have with other people might be a good week to review those things, even if you don't necessarily feel like you're ready to commit to them at the moment. It can also help spark and expand your imagination. So here are some suggestions I'll just ask you to ask yourself. What is the big picture that you're focusing on? And then ask yourself, how can I refine it into manageable steps? And also importantly, avoid saying yes to everything. Prioritize the ideas that align with your goals and visions. Now, we also have the sun, which can represent our identity and our vitality, our life force. It's an intense square with Saturn, which is the planet of structure and responsibilities. Now, this aspect can highlight limits and the need to confront certain challenges or limitations. So it may lead you to feeling blocked or frustrated. You may also be doubting some of your abilities. This is a good time to reevaluate how you do things. Look at maybe some of the structures and schedules that you have, either for your daily routines or maybe for particular projects that you're working on currently. This may be a good time to tweak some of those ideas, to refine them. And again, give yourself permission to focus on the main thing, one thing at a time. Like, what is the main thing to get done for a particular project or a particular area? And then really hone in on that. And in a nutshell, break your projects down into smaller, actionable steps. And also look at what boundaries you maybe need to either make more flexible or make more firm. What is your intuition telling you about that? Either boundaries in relationships or boundaries around your time. Um, that's something to look into. Now, we also have Venus sextiling Neptune. Venus is the planet of love and values and is harming a sextile with Neptune, the planet of big dreams and imagination. Now, what's nice about this, a sextile is they're basically supporting each other. It's kind of like having a really good neighbor that you can go next door and borrow a cup of sugar from. That sort of thing is how I think of sextiles. It gives you the opportunity, Venus sextiling Neptune, um, more creativity. So if you're working on an artistic project or something that brings out more of your creative skills, this is a great way to tap into that energy. And it can also help you access some emotional depths and emotional and spiritual connections. So maybe if you're looking to have a heart-to-heart with someone, that could be a good way to use this energy as well, or a way to express appreciation to someone. It might be a fun time to have a date night as well. You can use this transit to really envision what you want next in certain relationships as well, or maybe even begin to brainstorm about what kind of relationships you want to bring into your world, either personal or professional. And now I'm going to go back to the double shutdown method that I mentioned earlier. With this astrology, it's a great way to utilize this energy, especially since we're in a Mercury retrograde, which is effectively redoing things, reviewing things. I think it's a great way to develop this habit of the double shutdown, to use this energy. And one potential way to possibly do this, you might have a morning planning session. Give yourself 10 to 15 minutes just to outline your day. Think about what you really want to focus on for that day. What are the main priorities you want to have? Identify that most important task. And then block time out for focus work and for focus breaks if you're able to, if you have that kind of control with your schedule. And then the second shutdown in the evening, you can have a reflection section. Take 15 to 20 minutes at the end of your workday. Did you accomplish that one thing or those two or three big priorities for the day? If not, where were there challenges? And also, what went well? What new inspirations came to you? And then you can take what you've learned from the day and look at what you want to implement the next day, how you want to adjust. And then if at all possible, either at the end of your workday or at the end of your full day, take a little time to disconnect from work with some sort of calming ritual. For me, I like to have my cup of, I have a supplement with magnesium and some superfoods, or some people like to have lion's mane and mushroom powder. Some people just like a nice cup of herbal tea, something that's going to help you unwind and calm down, get ready for the night. It's also a good time, this particular astrology, to implement a nighttime routine if you've not done that. I know a lot of people like to talk about morning routines, but one of the best things to help you implement a good morning routine is to actually have a good nighttime routine, a shutdown routine to help you fall asleep. So maybe if you are going to still be having screen time, most people recommend you not have screen time for at least an hour before you go to bed. But a lot of us, we just don't have that discipline. I usually just opt for watching calming YouTube videos for about an hour before I fall asleep. That way I'm not watching anything that's going to get my adrenaline going or stress me out or worry me. Like most things that are on actual television at night is just way too stressful for me. And it's going to make it hard for me to fall asleep or stay asleep. So I prefer to listen to this or a calming podcast, maybe a half hour or an hour before I fall asleep. And I usually have my nighttime cup of tea or whatever it is, and I'm drinking to help me sleep better at night, that sort of thing. And it's also a good time to set aside time if you can actually just write in an actual journal by hand. Some people don't like to do that. Some people prefer just to basically record their thoughts out loud, have a blog effectively to process their thoughts. That's a good thing to do at nighttime as well. Or you could actually just read an actual physical book, even for just a half hour, something along those lines. And then either quietly meditate before or after can be helpful as well if that sort of thing appeals to you. But in a nutshell, one of the best ways is just let's look at how we can integrate this week's energy, or Wednesday's energy, at least throughout the week. You can use this double shutdown method to capture and prioritize your thoughts. It's going to help you focus on disciplined, incremental progress. And you also can set aside some time to look at your creative flow using that Venus-Neptune energy, that time for brainstorming, connection, and creative expression. Let me see if there was anything else I had to say. So basically, in a nutshell, this astrology is all about balancing the big ideals, having practical discipline and creative flow. This Mercury opposite Jupiter energy is going to inspire big thinking while also making you look at the practical details on how to implement it, how to make it happen. What is the strategy? What is the way forward? And then maybe if you just like a little prompt to help you think about it, maybe after a couple of days of playing with some of these practices, you can ask yourself, how are you feeling with this week's energy? And definitely feel free to let me know in the comments, or if you just really, if something resonated for you, any of these transits, or, just comment double shutdown, for example. Thank you again for listening. I do appreciate your time and your energy, and I hope all is going well for you during this holiday season. And talk to you soon. Easefully yours, Darice.